Hey guys, what's going on? This is Bill here on Bill's Road Trip, the first ever video blog that I'm going to be doing. Going to be doing these every so often. Basically, whenever I feel like I need to talk about something, and it's going to be a whole range of issues or things to talk about. Things from running to travel spots that I liked, or trips that I just, happen to do, or we look back to some interesting things that's happened over the past, 16 years of traveling on my own, or video games, board games, little collectibles like my teeny mates, just just fun stuff. So hopefully you'll like, subscribe, comment, and enjoy. So here we go. What we're going to do today is talk about a running race down at Disney World. So let's give you a little back history. I'm not a athletic runner, I started doing it kind of as a hobby to do something with my coworker, and it morphed into something that I love to do. I'm not someone who's going to win any awards on the races. I finished last multiple times, but you know what? It's all about just going out there and having fun. And I think that actually being a slower runner, I kind of get to enjoy the course more. It's a running joke that the slow runners enjoy the course more because the guys who are those first through 20 runners, they're really running to try to win it, and we're all, the rest of us in the back, are trying to just beat our own times, or see something cool, hang out with some people that we like, so it's a good little hobby. So back in 2012, I watched a video from Attractions Magazine, the show, where Banks Lee was running with a couple of other of the attractions people, and they were doing the Tower of Terror 10 miler. Now, coming from Boston, runners, are, these Boston Marathon people, the Kenyans, this, that, totally athletic people. And what Attractions kind of showed you was that, you didn't have to be this, amazing athlete. You could just be a regular person who wants to go out and have fun. And here's a race at Disney World that, you can see some cool stuff, characters, listen to music, bands, and so it turned out to be, I was like, wow, hey, this is something I could do. I walk a lot at work, I can, run a few miles and, do a 5K at Disney World. So I looked into it. And the first thing I saw was the 2013 Walt Disney World Family Fun Run. And, what ends up, I found out that it's all about Marathon Weekend. It's usually the second weekend in January. And at that time, there were 3 races: the 5K, the half marathon, and the marathon. And so I decided, there's no way in heck I could do a half marathon or marathon, so I'm just going to do it with the 5K. And so I got myself trained, at the local Planet Fitness, and I walked, did a little outside, decided to do 2 trial runs, the One Step Closer to Home and the Christmas Around the Bog. 2 fun races that I might talk about later on. And then so then I went and headed down in January 2013 to Disney World, stayed at the All-Star Music, and ran in the Family Fun Run. So the next year I decided to do it again because I wanted it to be better. So I did it. I came down again. This time I ran the 5K and the Disney half marathon. So it was like 2 races in 3 days. What had happened was that year in 2014, the 10K came up and it split the races up. So I got a day of rest instead of what in 2013 I would have had to do in consecutive days. So now I'm going to talk about the expo. So if you've ever heard of the Disney Expo, it's basically where you go to get your number, to get any running gear you need, anything that you can think of that you forgot, or some cool souvenirs that are for Run Disney. And so you go to the Wide World of Sports, and if you haven't been there, it's a cool just mega structure thing. There's baseball fields, there's football fields, there's track, there's soccer fields, there's everything, including like a big baseball field where I think the Braves play spring training, so you go there. And now the first year I went, I'm deer in headlight. I did not realize that holy jeez, there's like 15,000 people running in this 5K, and there's 25,000 people running in the half marathon and the marathon. So, I'm figuring I'm going to get my number. Now, my 2 previous races before that were like 80 people. So, I did not expect this. And so when I get on this bus, at the All-Star Music, which if you've ever taken the buses at the All-Star, you have to go through all 3 All-Star hotels. And, everybody's squishing on. Some people are trying to get on. Some people are trying to get off. So, I'm seeing all these people, and I'm like, wow. I mean, this one bus was more than, the previous 2 races I'd been in. And so I get there, and I have no clue where I'm going. Luckily, I ended up sitting next to a Canadian man who was doing the half marathon, and he kind of showed me the ropes. He showed me how to go to the expo, because where the buses park and where the expo is probably a good quarter of a mile to half a mile. And so you go in, and you go into the first building, and the first building is where you pick up your race number. So you go in there. You have your ID out. Make sure you always have your ID and your waiver. You can print out your waiver there, but make sure you have it, and always have your ID. So you go in, you get your waiver, you get your number. Then you go into the next building. Next building has your T-shirt, and so you then go. Then there's a bunch of souvenirs right there, so you can get in there. There's a lot of guest lectures. I've seen Jeff Galloway on a couple of occasions. Talking, and so you go around, and there's a bunch of other things that you can look at and do there. So it's definitely worth spending a little time, although it is crowded as heck. Obviously 2017, when I talk about the marathon, we'll go into the craziness that was that, but the 2013 and 14 ones were very crowded as well. But as long as you what your bib number is going to be, that'll be on your waiver. As long as you know what that is, just go right to your line. Don't really, just kind of, you'll see all these people. Don't get nervous or anything. Just go right up to it, And as long as you got your ID, they'll help you out real quick. So then I ended up seeing my brother and my sister-in-law and my baby niece at the time. And we went out to downtown Disney, and then I got some sleep, and 3 a.m. calls, because when you do these Disney races, you are up early. And what ends up happening is you get up and you get on a bus, and it takes you to Epcot. So Epcot is it's pitch black at this point, but you got the nice light from Spaceship Earth, and you're in this parking lot, and there are DJs blasting music. Mickey Mouse is there, so you got a huge line of people trying to get a picture with Mickey Mouse. You got basically all these cool people in costumes, because Run Disney, it's really not about times. You know, you're not going to get a personal best there unless you haven't done a half marathon or a marathon. So you're more there for the experience. So there are these people, they're all dressed up in cool, different costumes. And so you go and you get to go through the bag line, you go hang out. The DJ is playing a lot of, these dance hits, and they're trying to get you to dance with them, which is not only, supposed to be fun, but it's supposed to, get you loose, get you working, get your muscles working and all that. And so you, once you pass them, you get into your corral. Now your bib's gonna have your corral number, or your corral number, or your corral letter and your bib number. So you go to whichever corral you're in. In my case, in both of the family fun runs, I was in C. I tried manipulating that, but that didn't work. See, what happens is, in most of the larger races, you have to have a proof of time. You have to run a previous race and set a time. In 5Ks, there is no proof of time. What it does is it sends you a message and says, hey, or when you sign up, it says, what do you think you can, do for a mile? So 7 to 9, 9 to 11, 13 to 16, 11 to 13, 13 to 16. So, and there's no proof. So, you got the, some smart people, they want to take pictures and stuff. They'll put 7 to 9 so they can be in Corral A, even though they're going to walk. But that's how it is. I was generally honest. I did, I think, 11 to 13 the first one. And I was trying to hope to get to 13. I was then probably running around 13 at that point. And then in the second year, I put 9 to 11 because I tried to manipulate and get myself further up. But that didn't end up happening. I ended up in C. So what ends up happening, now I have the map up on the screen. Now, see, you see it right next to me. Actually, I'm pointing towards it, honestly. Yeah. Sorry, again, this is the first time. So this is where my screen is. This is how I can see what's going on. But it also, if I'm pointing like this, it's actually pointing at the map. But, so you're starting outside of Disney in this parking lot. It's 5:30 in the morning, I think. And they sing the Star Spangled Banner. Corral A gets up to the line. The fireworks go off. And everybody from A goes, and then B goes, and okay, we're starting at C. So getting ready. Got my music on, got the watch ready, and the fireworks go off. And nobody moves. Most of the time in a regular race, everybody goes. And, there might be a little, when you're in the back like me, you might get a little bit of a wall, where nobody kind of goes at first. But, in Disney, you've got a couple of thousand people in your corral, so the wall literally just stops you. So it's very hard in a Run Disney race to get that rhythm right away, because everybody is on their own, pattern. There's runners, there's walkers, there's Galloway run walkers, so you have to be aware of your surroundings, especially at that start, because, generally they like to say, slow people to the right, fast people to the left, and that will get to that point at some, but not at the start. At the start, there are slow people on the left, there are fast people on the right. It's very tough. Every Run Disney vlog I'm going to do, I'm going to stress that you have to keep an eye out on your surroundings, because you will dart to the left. Even a slow person like me, you will dart to the left, you will dart to the right. I can tell you the 2014 5K at the beginning, I was legitimately all the way over to the left because I could not get past a lot of the people on the right. And then by the first turn, I was probably back over onto the right. And if you've ever, in any of my other races, I'm generally in a straight line, got into a rhythm, stuff like that. But you cannot do that in a Disney 5K. The Disney 5K is probably the 3 miles of the most crazy you've ever seen because there's just so many people in such a short area. So as we look at the map, you start out in the parking lot. Now, technically, this map is not really accurate because the start and the finish are only, a certain, probably 50 feet apart. But you take it off and you go in. You're going through the parking lot. There's not much to see at this point because it's dark. But you're gonna go down this service road, and there's some cool things. They got some, service vehicles of the past, that you've seen. You're like, oh, I used to ride that when I was a kid, stuff like that. And so then you go up. There's a DJ. There's a few characters, but again, not at the really beginning part because it's so dark. And again, you're trying to get that rhythm because you start off in this parking lot and it's gonna be 3-4 lanes at one point, but then it's gonna get down to the 2-lane road that goes through the service. So you gotta watch out. Make sure when this road starts to narrow, you gotta make sure that you're gonna have some space that like the fast group and the slow group is not gonna squish you, trip you. Things happen like that. So what ends up happening is you come into right around mile 1. You come into the service entrance of Epcot, in the back by about. So if you've ever been to Epcot, you're at Test Track, which is on what hand is this? My left hand side, and you can tell I've been to work today. So the Test Track's on the left hand side. You're coming in from back there. You come in through the service entrance and you go right up behind Test Track. You actually go under. In Test Track, when the ride goes outside and it starts whipping around, real fast, you actually go under that track. And you get your water station. But this is when the excitement starts because, again, you've been racing on a regular road. It's not much different. The first mile is not much different than a regular race. This is when the excitement happens because you're going into the park. And this is also, though, when it gets crazy. Because you think that the first part is crazy with the wall and the people trying to get their rhythm. Well, this is when, first of all, it narrows. It legitimately narrows into a very small path because this isn't made for 15,000 people. It's made for, the cast members to go through. So it narrows into this road. Then it turns crazy because, and I mean this crazy in a good way. It's so, such a weird, awesome experience. Because what happens is you come out of here and you're on right outside of Mexico in the World Showcase. And now you have to go all the way around. But what happens is that they're so crazy. You've got your runners and your walkers. Then you've got a lot of characters. Pretty much at almost every country there's going to be a character because there's so much more room now. And it's also turning daylight. So you have you have a water station, and water stations are on both sides. So people in the middle start darting to the left and the right, and if you're coming through there, they may dart right in front of you. There's also people trying to take selfies or pictures of somebody else, stuff like that. You want to take a picture at Spaceship Earth, so you're like, so it just gets crazy. People going left, people going right, people going back, people going forth, people walking, running. It is a cluster in the greatest way, though, because it's like, wow, it's like, I want to make sure that I'm good, but wow, this is kind of cool to look at, cool to watch. You got the cool buildings. You got all these people doing a whole bunch of different things, and so you start going down the road, and it eventually calms itself down. But at that first part, because you got like Donald Duck hanging out at Mexico, and so everybody gotta get a picture with him. So it gets a little crazy. Then it gets to the water station. Like I said, that gets crazy, but then it'll start to, calm down a little bit, and you're going through, and it's just beautiful, because you've got Spaceship Earth. The more you go around the course, the better Spaceship Earth looks. Especially because if you're in, one of the later corrals, the sun is rising. So it is going to look so great. And you're going through, and the course is fairly flat. There's no sort of hill or anything that's like scary up until later on. But you're just going up and down, and it's great. And again, you can stop for characters. You can take some pictures, do whatever you want. I generally don't stop, because what ends up happening is if I stop, I'm done. So I just keep going. So you get all the way up to where, just on the map, just a little above where that 2 is. And that is right where France is. Now, when you go through Epcot, France and England is separated by a bridge that, the boats go through. So you have to go up this bridge. And that is such a pain in about 1.8 miles when you're doing a 5K. But it has to be done, The good thing about this is when you get off that hill, you go down to where the back entrance of Epcot is, from like the beach club, the yacht club. So you got a nice downhill right after that uphill. So that's a good thing. So then you go through a back section behind England, and you go get a water stop. I like that water stop because, again, you're not really in the park, so more people are just like grab the water and go. So, and then you come back out, and this is when it gets really great, because you are coming out of like England and Canada, and you go through that, like the entrance of the World Showcase, and then you're just running down Future World. And again, the later you are in the race, like the C's, the D's, the sun is up, the sun is rising, and the monorails are going. So you got the monorails going above you. The sun's glistening off Spaceship Earth. It's just beautiful. It's you just had this like crazy section in the back, and then it just becomes kind of like peaceful. Maybe it's because you're almost done, but it's just like Mickey. You see Mickey and Minnie at one point. It's just like it turns into this like, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm sitting here, and you start running towards Spaceship Earth. And when you do Spaceship Earth, you actually think you're done at if you're doing this like the first time, once you get to Spaceship Earth, you think you're done. You're like, yes, I'm done. And then it's like, no, you're not. Because what you do is you go past Spaceship Earth, and you go around those, as you enter Epcot in a normal way, you would see those, the statues of the Leave a Legacy thing. You have to go all the way around those, and then you can go back up and then go out the entrance. Now, what Disney has really cool is when you leave that service entrance by Spaceship Earth, in any of the Disney races, they have a choir singing. It's just like, maybe the first couple times I didn't realize or even pay much attention to the choir singing, but when I did the marathon this past trip, hearing that choir was just the greatest thing I've ever, it was just, first of all, what awesome people to be up at 5:30 in the morning singing, for these people who are running by and, probably not even paying much attention. But they're just wonderful people. And then, yes, I appreciated it so much on this last trip. But they are some awesome people. So if you end up going to do the 5K, just stop for a second and listen to them. Or you slow down for a second and listen to them. So then you pop out of the entrance, or one of the service entrances, and you are there. You've got this long road that goes right to the finish line. You've got, some people, the crowd isn't usually as big in the 5K as it is in, the half of the full, but you got some people clapping, the DJ's up there, and you've got the finish line straight ahead, and it is such an awesome feeling to see that finish line. And then you pass the finish line, and they give you one of these. Now this is the 2013 medal. This was a special one because it was the 20th anniversary. And this was the 2014 one. They decided that Pluto was going to be the it was going to be his race for the 5K. So now they've gone, instead of the rubber make of this medal, this year they turned it into, now everybody gets a medal, which is, I'm glad that I got these, because that was the thing that drove me to do the marathon, was because I had gotten this one, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, this is awesome, I'm glad, this is my first medal, I'm loving it. And then the next day I was going to Epcot for like 3 parks in one day. If you know me, I like to go crazy on these parks. So, and I was getting to the hotel, and then I saw the guys in the Metal Donald one, which I'm knocking things over, but that's okay. You get the Metal Donald one. Which we'll talk about this race at another time. But I'm like, darn, I want that. And then checking out the next day, I saw the people with the big Mickey medal, and I'm like, I want that. So that's what brought the 4 years of running, was just seeing that Mickey medal. That when I'm wearing this outside my, waiting for my ride, out of the hotel when I checking out, and seeing those people with their big Mickey medals, it actually was the thing that drove me to do this marathon a few months ago, or last month, 2 months ago. Jeez, time's going by. So that's about it for the Family Fun Run 5K. I would recommend it to anyone. Real like guys who are going for the win. Novice runners, anyone who just wants to go out and have a good time, or people who aren't runners, who just want to go for a walk in Disney. I mean, it's not timed, whereas the other ones have the 16-minute pace. Go walk and have a good time. Go through the park, go see some characters. I would definitely recommend the 5K. So that's going to be about it for the first Bill's road trip. Sorry if it took so long, but I like talking about these races, so I hope you enjoy it. We're probably going to do some other type of things soon. Like I said, probably some of my favorite travel spots, or stories about the road, and some video games. I've got a pro wrestling loot box that's coming, kind of like one of those subscription boxes like Birchbox and stuff, but it's for wrestling fans. I got that coming, so I'm probably going to do a video on that. So if you liked what you saw, please hit the like button. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Feel free to comment either on Facebook or YouTube, and I hope that we can do this again soon. So have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.